Good morning, guys.
Welcome to Lemon Drops.
We are starting this podcast early, opposed to we usually film at 2 in.the morning, but actually we're starting earlier now.
We film at midnight and then end at 2 in.the morning.
Yeah, but now we're recording mornings because she started a new job and she has to get up at 3 a.m. now.
Yeah, so we're gonna switch things up into filming in the morning, and we kind of want to stop posting Saturday morning so we could be wake up, Lemon Drops kind of thing.
Yeah, and it just sounds better.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna start doing that. So I think we're switching things around, and even though we won't posting on Thursdays, sometimes we just want to switch things around and stop posting Saturday mornings. So, which is probably gonna be Sundays for you guys. Just kidding.
Bear with us.
Yeah, but point is, you're gonna get a video a week now, and in the morning. So
yes,
yeah,
we have adjustments to make and stuff like that because, like I said, she has a new job starting, and then I am just dealing with pregnancy and stuff. So we are trying to make it work around.
Yeah, because we love doing it. It's just kind of hard to find time.
It's like this right now. Once we get past this, we'll get back in a rhythm.
Yeah, I feel like this is the busiest year. Me planning a wedding and then you going through pregnancy. And
but it's all fun and you guys get to hear our talks.
Yeah, so
anyways,
what are we talking about?
So today we thought we would talk about cussing. And we decided to look into it because we had a bit of a debate between cussing. Is it a sin? Is it not a sin? What does the church say about it? And we actually both learned that they break it up actually into 3 categories, which would be blasphemy, cursing, and vulgarity. So we thought we would talk about each topic with you guys and just, learn with us because, we're as we're looking this up and stuff, we're trying to figure out what exactly does the church think and say on it. So I guess we'll start with blasphemy.
It's crazy because I seen a video and they were telling me well, not telling me, but
in a sense.
Yeah. So when I was watching a video, I was scrolling through my shorts, and one popped up on my For You page, and after hearing this, I don't cuss personally, but I've always just I said it in past episodes as well. I just don't do it because I just think it kind of looks trashy. But a part of me wanted to learn a little more about cussing and blasphemy and vulgarity, and I wanted to know why is this bad, because I never really read in the Bible that it was a sin. And so my For You page, I was scrolling and a video, and it was okay, the time when Peter denied Jesus, when the Jews asked him do you know this guy, and he said no, and then he said it again, do you know this guy, and he said no, and the third time when the cock crows, before he says he didn't know him, he cussed in that time. So that
he started swearing to basically prove that he wasn't a follower of Jesus.
So that time that Peter was trying to separate himself from God, not identify as a follower of Jesus, he cussed to prove himself that he was not. So every time you cuss, you're separating yourself from God.
When they say St. Peter used, you said what? Swearing?
Yeah.
When he was swearing.
I said cussing.
Cursing?
Yeah.
Okay, so when he was cursing, does that mean he was doing blasphemy, or was he doing vulgarity, or was he doing cursing?
Well, essentially it doesn't really state in the Bible, as far as I know, what cuss word he actually said. So vulgarity, I don't think he used any vulgarity. He didn't cuss or any
Because
cuss.
So it sounds like he was using more of a profane way.
He was using his words in a kind of should I say the
blasphemy?
Blasphemy, God strike me, I do not know this man. And he used God's name in there as well, and it was more a profanity thing. And so it doesn't initially state that he he used vulgar language, but blasphemous language.
Yeah, so what I'm learning is that there's different levels of extreme. So blasphemy would be the top one. That is the worst way you can...
That's the worst way in religious
which takes away which goes against the second commandment, which is not taking the Lord's name in vain in any profane way. And that even goes to just saying, oh my God, or whatever, and in a careless way. That goes with it too.
Well, our words are very powerful, and God deserves to be held in an esteemed way. Like he is God, he is the Almighty. Like, so you should be using God and Jesus and his name in the right form of context, in the holiest way as possible, because like God should be held in an esteemed way.
And it's in the prayer of the Our Father, right? It's the only they call it the perfect prayer because it was given from Jesus himself. He said, "Hallowed be thy name," which is holy is his name. So, using any God or Jesus should be only in the utmost respectful and holy way. Which is why we have to be very careful, listening to music or movies or whatever that, use God's name. It has to be in a very specific, holy way only, and it can't be in a careless way.
Yeah, because the Bible does say a lot about, they bring up a lot about how the tongue can cause you to sin in the Bible, and how it does really reflect, but that's more of the cussing part.
No, but it still goes.
But, it still goes with blasphemy, and for the blasphemy context. It's just, his name should be always in the right context. And when you're delivering something and you say God's name in vain, you're really separating yourself from him. But I do want to touch base on because I was listening to a talk. I was listening to 2 videos. One was Father Rippiger, which I really recommend his talks because they are really good. And then I was listening to this other one, but I forgot the name of the priest that was talking. So I don't know which one said what, but they were saying, I think it was Father Rippiger. But anyways, they were saying oh my gosh, and using that from they're like, why are you gonna say oh my gosh? Because again, it's not about, using God's name in vain is just bad outside, physically, verbally saying it. But when you say oh my gosh, you're kind of meaning oh my God as well. So because the meaning behind that is you kind of just saying that, should we really be even saying oh my gosh?
I remember hearing a talk from a priest that I attended a parish, and he said that we should actually avoid saying oh my gosh.
Yeah, which I believe it, because
and it's all really just a habit. I created the habit of saying oh my word, and that's just what I say now. So it doesn't even come to mind to say gosh. It just, oh my word. It's just a habit you create for yourself.
Which is crazy, because I used to say oh my word a lot too, because my mom would say don't even say oh my gosh. But then the more I grew up, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So now I always say oh my gosh. I've never took God's name in vain. But at the same time, I've said oh my gosh, and that's kind of another form of saying oh my God,
Yeah.
So that's what I was stuck on as well, because I just need to listen to more talks about, not really, because at the end of the day, I need to stop saying even oh my gosh, but
you just have to form good habits, because the more, you might think, oh, it's not a big deal to say it or whatever, but as you tend to use that form, it becomes nothing to you, and then before you know it, you're taking the next level and the next level, because you're never staying the same in religion. You're either going up or you're either going down. So we always have to be striving to go up. We cannot just stay the same, because you will fall. You have to always strive to just do better, to be better. And it is a work. Every day you're working at it to be better.
Yeah.
Until you get to the end, which is our, eternity.
That's why when people bring up, just all these 3 topics combined, blasphemy and cussing and then vulgarity, they always say, well, it's just a habit. It's just a habit. I try to stop, but it's a habit. And it's yeah, first of all, God knows if you're truly, really trying. But at the same time, it's okay, you can't just say it's a habit, because you say it, you regret it, but you still have the supernatural effect of it. And when other people hear it, automatically they're going to think it doesn't show on their perspective that you're trying. It just shows that you're saying it. So I mean, it is a hard topic, or like how to say it, because you do have those people that are trying, but it's like I heard it's a really bad habit to break too, which I believe. I don't know it because I don't.
Well, it's
cuss.
like they say.
It's just not out of habit for me.
They say bad habits are hard to break.
If something's just in your vocabulary, it's just gonna be hard not to say it like that.
Oh, that's what they said. They said bad habits are easy to make and hard to break. But that's the ultimate level, I would say, is blasphemy. You just do not take the Lord's name in vain. Which underneath that, I believe, would fall cursing. Wouldn't you agree? So
yeah, cursing is just, yeah.
Cursing is not the same as cussing. Cursing is when you
condemn someone.
Condemn somebody. You're wishing evil upon that person.
Yeah.
That would be a second level.
I feel like people so it's like, it's hard because blasphemy, I don't know if blasphemy is the highest though. Cussing
No. The highest would, oh, I'm sorry. No, blasphemy is the highest because now you're
taking God's name in vain, but cussing is like condemning somebody. And then when they put God's name in with it, like,
well, if you want to mix all three, then yeah.
I know, it's like all bad in general, but anyways, like, yeah, so cussing is condemning someone. Like,
I only thought that taking the Lord's name in vain would be first because I was going through by the 10 Commandments, right? So the first commandment God gave us was to worship God alone.
Yeah. And
then the second one is not taking the Lord's name in vain. And then, which follows for not condemning other people and stuff, would be following the, is it the 6th and 8th commandment, I think? I think it would follow the 6th. I think that one would go against the 6th and 8th commandment, which is why I put blasphemy first, using God's name in a profane way, because God put that as the second commandment compared to the others.
Yeah, I wasn't going off commandments. I was just going based off, like, I guess it's just what context are you using it out of? Like, I think oh my God.
Well, context does matter.
Because saying oh my God compared to go to hell.
Yeah, if you're just not paying attention, you're just like, oh my God or whatever, that is a different level according to, wishing somebody goes to hell. That's a completely different.
Yeah. And that's like what I was basing it off of. Like, when you're condemning someone to hell, or you're asking
wishing it upon them.
You're wishing it upon them. These actions usually come out of when you're frustrated, or when you're mad, or when you're irritated, which those are all sins as well, because you're supposed to control your anger and trust in God and things like that. But the devil has one power, and that is like deceiving, and he has his territory, and that's hell. So now when you're condemning someone to hell, or you're telling someone go to hell, and some people say it as a joke too, and they're like, oh, go to hell, or like, oh my gosh, like, this is out of context when people are like, it's fine, I'll just go to hell. And it's like,
oh.
I'm like,
well, they just don't understand the severity of it.
And I told them, like, one of my coworkers said that, and I'm like, why do you say that? And he's like, it's fine, I'll just go to hell. And I'm like, do you understand what you just said? Like, do you know what hell is? And they just think I'm like, it's a joke. And I'm like, oh my gosh, pray. I'm praying for him.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, we're working on it. Yeah. It's funny because when your kids used to come up to me whenever I said, oh my gosh, and they're like, you just said, oh my gosh. And I'm like, it's not a bad word. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. But,
no, I never understood when people would actually, you have the severity who, wish the worst on people. I never understood that because I'm like, I don't know, I guess that's just such an evilness. I just never understood because I'm like, aren't we all want the same thing. We all want to end up in heaven.
Yeah, but not everyone understands what hell actually is.
And some people don't believe in hell. A lot of people don't believe in hell.
And they don't believe. They just think that once we die, which I don't even know what they believe because some people don't even believe in heaven. But they just think once we die, we die. But
it's depressing.
No, yeah, I don't feel like I feel like there's so much more to say on it, but at the same time, it's like,
it's kind of black and white.
Yeah.
Just don't wish evil on another person. forgive them and
Yeah.
love them. I mean, that's literally,
But what
aside
do
from the
you
to-
think about people? I think the main word in cussing is the D word. I don't want to say like the D word. I should just like say it to teach. Father Rebecca said if you're teaching, you could say it one
you
time.
could just say it, and every time you say it, just put a bleep.
I'm gonna use it for teaching context, but only teaching context. But
About to get rated R.
I know. I'm gonna take down a video. No, I'm good. The main word for like when you're cussing someone, right? Yeah, cussing someone out.
Cursing.
Yeah, is they say God, and then they usually say like damn it at the end. But
Which we refer to it as the GD word.
yeah, we usually say GD word. How we say like damn, we say the D word. We're like, oh, you just said the D word. Like that's kind of like, we're kind of like little kids. Like when someone says something, you just said the D word.
Jesus says, unless you become like a child to enter the kingdom of
Exactly.
God.
It's like I'm from now on gonna only say D word. You're gonna know what I mean. But no, like so that's usually the word that they use for that. But I am like curious, like when people say, like damn it, in that form of context, is that still going under cussing? You know what
If
I'm
you
saying?
like just say it to yourself.
When people say the GD word, which is God, and then like obviously that's like
No, that is
terrible. Oh, when they're like, but let's say like when someone's cooking, or they mess up, or they use it out of frustration, which is still frustrating and like
so there's
not controlling your temper is the sin. But when someone's like cooking or they mess up with someone and they're like, damn it, and they say it, like, would you say like that's part of cursing though? Because it is a question I ask. Like people say that all the time.
I wouldn't put it under cursing, because cursing is when you're wishing evil upon another. So when you just
but
mumble,
that word means
but when you
kind of like
no, but you're not wishing it upon somebody else. You're just saying it out of a habit, you're just saying it as
yeah,
word
but
out of
like
habit.
if I guess it's like
So
not
there's a
wishing a
different-
cup to hell.
So there's
But-
I think there's a difference if, let's say, even the F word. Let's say you messed up on something and you just yelled it out of anger. Yes, it's still a sin because you used it out of anger. But to look at somebody and yell it at them and curse at them as evil, now to me that's a severity of more of a mortal sin now. Because
Well,
now
yeah.
you're going
again,
at
the
them.
sin is based on the context.
Now when it comes to the GD word, which is God's name, and then the D word, when it comes to putting those two together at all circumstances, whether you're saying it to yourself or whether you're watching it or listening to it,
well, yeah.
I do believe put that under mortal sin.
But I'm just like, obviously, like, damn, it means like,
So if you were to drop a lemon right now and you were to say the D word or whatever out of frustration, you're not wishing evil on anybody. You just
what
yelled
if
it
I'm
out of
wishing
habit.
evil on the lemon?
I think you need to go see somebody.
No, but like I am curious, like when you say that, I guess it wouldn't be cussing, but still that using it in that form of context would go under vulgarity, huh?
I would say
Because
yes.
at that page,
For it to be cursing, you would have to wish evil upon another person, from my understanding. Where the reason why I would put blasphemy still at number 1 is because even take aside the 10 commandments, the 2 biggest commandments that God gave us, aside from the 10 commandments, are you love God with your whole heart, mind, soul, and strength, and then, above all else, and everything and everyone, and then the second one was love thy neighbor as thyself. So you have to respect God first, which is why blasphemy would come at the top, and then second would be respect for yourself and others, which would become with
we're just respecting how you talk to them and how you speak to them.
yes.
Because if I say GD, then I do think that is above wishing someone to hell. But if I say oh my God,
if you say oh my God out of like a habit and you don't mean anything by it, I compared to you wishing evil on somebody, I think you wishing on evil somebody is definitely
like worse, huh?
yeah.
So again, just context.
Yeah, I think context also plays a huge part in it.
Yeah.
But above all, I think God just put, putting him above all others first, because when you have that love for God and you learn not to take his name in vain because you realize the holiness of him, you automatically just don't do the rest of them, because the more of a love you grow for God, the less you'll hate others in a sense, because God gives you that wisdom and grace to just automatically love and start respecting others the more you give him that love.
Yeah, I think that makes like more sense, because
What about
again, vulgarity, it's
and vulgarity, we mean just using a foul mouth now in general, which is what majority of people do these days, is bad words.
So it's not bad. Vulgarity isn't bad in the religious field as far as all three of them. Like blasphemy.
No, it falls under the lowest category. It's definitely below blasphemy and cursing.
Yeah.
But the church still recognizes it as wrong, obviously.
Well, they say it as wrong. But also, don't you think that when, like saying, no. Okay, but what about the priests that do say some vulgarity words? Which by vulgarity words, we're talking about, are we saying words on here to like represent what it is? Because no one's gonna understand C word and SH word, Booty didn't even know what the C word was there's so many words that people are gonna be like, what was the C word?
Just spell
it. Okay.
Use a different word, because like the SH word.
Huh?
Just say like the SH word or something.
No one's gonna understand that, because when I was talking to Booney when we first started dating about it, he's like, what's the C word?
Well, if you say that,
because no one counts that.
You can say the C word, but is it too much if you edit? Like when you say the C word, you have it pop up, but you put like CR and then asterisk and then P.
Whatever. I think I'm just gonna say the words. Okay. by the words, everyone knows the F word. Everyone knows like the B word and stuff. But some people which is crazy because it's a debate if like crap is actually a bad word. The SH word, SHIT is like a bad word. I don't say that one because I don't say like any of them. But someone told me, which correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard the SH word is actually like the worst word you can say. Because I heard that during an exorcism, the devil from obviously someone said that the SH word is kind of the devil's favorite word because no one actually thinks it's serious. So that's the word he can get everyone to actually say. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I've never heard that.
Someone said a while ago that.
I am not familiarized with that.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Only because I am curious. I've always heard that.
So I have had quite a few debates with people when it comes to vulgarity and cussing. Do you think it is a sin to use cussing?
I'm looking this up because I'm actually curious about it. Huh?
Do you think it's a sin to use vulgarity?
It's not a sin to say the word, in my opinion. It's sin, the reason behind the word. What is the reason you're saying it?
Have you ever confessed using vulgarity? Actually, you don't have to answer that. The seal of confession is off limits.
Because these are just like...
Because I personally do believe it is a venial sin. That's my own personal belief. I don't understand when I hear people say, I don't believe it's a sin. But then yet, why are you telling your children not to do it? Why are you...
Okay, I didn't... Like, if your child shouldn't use it, then you shouldn't say it. But I don't think most of these people teach their kids, oh, don't say it because it's a sin. I think it does kind of just reflect who you are as a person. And
when you hear possessions take place, they say the devil constantly spits out bad words, blasphemy, cursing, vulgarity, all of those. St. Peter, they said, was swearing.
Yeah.
Which we don't exactly know, obviously, what he said. But, and saints have spoken about it. Even St. Thomas Aquinas and other saints have spoke about, staying away from vulgar speaking and stuff. And if they're all so on it, why would it not be a sin? Why would the church teach something to say, don't do this, if it's not a sin? They're focusing on getting you out of sin to make you holier. They're focusing on things you can do to be holy. So I just don't understand why would you think it's not a sin if all the saints stand behind it.
I can't find that thing that I said.
What were you talking about?
And the SH word or something. Well, anyways, that person that said that was very, very wrong. But I did find the Ephesians quote that I was talking about. It says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace into the hearers." Unto the hearers.
Okay,
Yes.
and even in the
Yeah.
Colossians, I think it said, on
Okay.
3:8,
Yeah.
they said, put away all, vulgar, malice, all that stuff. So because they all because the Bible speaks on it, the saints speak on it, the church even stands behind it on do not use profanity with that stuff. I do take it as a venial sin.
I don't consider it a sin. I consider the reason behind it a sin. And it's like, why are you saying that? If I just say the SHIT word, out of messing up something, then I wouldn't consider that a sin. Well, I don't know how you would use that on the form of like the reason behind it. But like the F word, if I'm just saying it because I dropped something, but then I go to someone and I'm like, F you. Now the reason behind why I said it right then and there would be the sin that I would confess.
So if you said the SH word with no anger behind it, you just set it off a whirl, you don't consider that a sin?
No.
Would you consider it a sin if you did the same thing but you were in church?
No. But I should respect the place I'm in, I think. It's like the same thing as would I wear, it's not right. Like, these things are not right to say, but I'm just saying, not everything has to fall off if it's a sin or not. If you think about it, at the end, it kind of just,
but I think
how you say it is just going to reflect on so many other things.
But I think every decision we make should fall, whether it's a sin or not.
No, it should be considered like, is this right? Is this like...
I just think every decision we make should fall, whether it's a sin or not, because we're talking about the state of our soul. We're talking about, eternity. So I think the seriousness of it should be every decision we make would be for the right or wrong, evil versus good, sin and not sin. Because the whole purpose is trying to be holier and stay out of confession. As obviously we should go to confession often, but I just mean, not have a lot on our plate to confess.
I understand what you're saying, and I wish I knew how to use my words better. But what I'm saying is, yes, it is like what's a sin, what's a not. But there are so many things out there that is not considered a sin, but you just shouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I keep going back to just the context. Like, it's not a good thing, but, if I go to the beach and I wear shirts and a tank top to the beach because it's hot and it's sunny, and we shouldn't be dressing, like, in modest or anything. But then I go to church and I wear a skirt and a veil and things like that. I'm just respecting the house of the Lord. And so, it's like going to a classy party and wearing jeans and a t-shirt, like, kind of thing. Like, I'm not respecting that. So when I go, it's not a sin for me to do that, but it's just the wrong thing to do. So when I enter, like, God's home and the church, I'm not going to cuss because I'm just respecting the house of the Lord.
Where I'm more trying to understand is, let's say you have kids in the future who say the SH word but mean nothing behind it. And you tell your kid, well, you shouldn't do that because it's wrong. Well, why is it wrong? Well, it's just not respectful. Can you go off that basis, or would you rather? I don't know. Like,
no, I understand what you're saying, and that's like a part of me that I'm just like, okay, like, if I don't know the question to, I'm just not gonna say it. But
that's what I'm trying to figure out, because
yeah.
I have heard back and forth debates on this, which is why I wanted to talk about vulgarity in, even movies, because I've heard people say, well, I don't think it's a sin. And then I've heard the other half say, well, I think it is a sin. I've tried doing research on it. Father Rippinger believes if you watch a movie.
Is it Vippinger or Vippinger?
I don't know. I'm saying Rippinger. But we're saying the same person.
Okay.
We're just pronouncing our G's differently. Like he was talking on movies, basically. Do you think it's a sin to watch movies with profanity?
It's hard because it's like everything has it. So are you going to cut it out of your life completely? And
I'm glad you asked. Father Rippinger actually spoke on it. And he said, people said, well, Father, if I cut out cussing out of movies, there's nothing else to watch. And Father Rippinger says that there is a lot of movies out there. They're obviously in the past more made.
No, but yeah.
But there is movies out there that they don't curse. And again, it goes back to, it's the state of your soul.
Yeah.
How you should want to go the whole extra mile to make sure that you're ensured eternity in heaven. But the reason why I wanted to bring up movies was because that was the biggest debate I've had with people. Not you.
Well, it's because you follow that.
Yes, but I want to know, I've had people say I don't believe it's a sin, but that's where I wanted the answer, because if it's not a sin, there's so many more movies I'd want to watch. Mm-hmm. No, but I think you have to make a very judicial decision when you're checking out movies, because people say, well, it's not really, I've heard people say it's not a venial sin to watch a movie. And
it's always a struggle I did have, because so growing up, it's like phases I had. And, I think back, I was able to definitely stop myself from watching movies easier back then than I do now. But like there was a certain point in my life where I didn't watch any movies with even G.O.D. So I went to confession and I told the priest, I said, I confessed that I watched a movie with the G.D. word. And he said, did you know that it had the G.D. word in it? And I said no, but when it said it, I didn't choose to shut off the movie. And he said, okay. He's like, you have to have full knowledge. You have to really think, okay, I know this is a sin. I'm going to do it anyway. And, I'll suffer the consequences after. And like, what's the thing for mortal sins again?
You have the three things?
Yes.
You have to, I think you have to know it is, you have to
acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it and commit it.
Right? Yeah, so, did you do that? Did you know it was going to have the GD word? Did you just do it anyway? And then you committed the sin. And I said, no, I didn't know it had the GD word, but I still continue watching it. And then I told him, I said, I feel like I should have shut it off though. And I shouldn't have just kept watching it. And he said, it's not a mortal sin because you didn't willingly, purposely watch the movie after already knowing it had the D word. But he said it was a venial sin. But he did say if you look it up and which we have the resources, if we have the resources that we do today, why not just look up the movie? So he said, like, if you look up the movie and you realize it does have the GD word and then you still go and watch it, he said, then I would consider that a mortal sin.
So are you saying there's a difference between, let's say the GD word? If it just came out without you planning it because you said it out of anger, or as if you...
Oh, no. I don't, no. I don't think that. I think, wait, we're going back to the... Are we saying the GD word?
No, we're going off what makes mortal.
Oh, we're talking about movies? What are we talking about?
You were talking about the GD in movies.
Yeah, so that's why. Like, if you look up the movie, you're recognizing that it has the GD word. You're acknowledging by, you're taking it, okay, this movie does have the GD word. And then you're willingly committing the sin by now watching the movie. But you need to recognize the sin, though. You need to recognize the sin. Because not everything... Let's say I do something simple. I know talking back to your parents is a sin, okay? And I acknowledge it's a sin, okay, that talking it back, but I'm doing it anyway. That's not mortal compared. That's why you need to recognize the sin. So, like, the GD word, you have to recognize it And is it the grave matter? Is it a grave matter sin? You know, adultery.
But do you think watching movies of just vulgarity is a venial sin? Not using God's name I'm talking about. I'm talking just cussing. Bad words.
Just saying bad words.
Bad words in movies. Do you think it's a sin?
No.
Do you think it's a sin to use it?
To use a bad word?
Bad words. To use bad words.
I think if I said it at the top of my head, no. I don't consider it a bad word.
Okay, that's where I'm the opposite. I do consider it a venial sin to use bad words and to watch it. I was listening to Father Rippinger talk about movies because I've heard people say I don't think it's wrong to watch movies with bad words. And Father Rippinger says, when you watch a movie, so you have, when you simulate somebody killing somebody on a movie, they're obviously not really killing them. It's just acting, right? They're not obviously killing them. So the person is just acting. But when you simulate watching a movie with vulgarity, that person can't pretend to use bad words. They are using it. So they are using that act of sin, of using venial sins. And they say, it's just part of an acting. I'm not actually doing it. But you are actually doing it. You are actually saying the words on screen. So to me, that's a venial sin. So when you watch the movie, you are now partaking in part of that act because it's for entertainment, right? Which is why we watch movies, for entertainment. You're now partaking it. Now I'm just going off Father Rippinger. He states it is a venial sin. And that's where I fall too. I've always just had the belief of using vulgar profanity is a sin. As long as watching it.
Yeah.
And as well as watching it.
It's hard because not every movie is gonna fall. Not every movie with vulgarity is gonna fall under sinful. But when you're watching it, it depends on the intent. Is this movie gonna ruin my relationship with God? Is it gonna perceive me in different ways I believe in the religion?
Why would all the saints and the church have such a negative impact on do not use profanity if it doesn't take you away from God? Why would they be so strong on that? That's my question. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. You're saying if I watch a movie and it, let's say, says one little bad word, you said you don't believe that's a sin. Why is the church so strong on teaching against not using profanity and not, if it's not a sin? Do you understand? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I've never heard the church actually speak up about not saying the SH word and the CIP and,
So I've tried, that's why I tried doing research. Father Rippinger says it is. I Googled it even, and Google said it wasn't. To an extent, of course. Obviously, if you're just using it a whole bunch, then yes, it is. So that's why I'm going back and forth. So let's say it's not a sin, and you watch movies with words, and let's say it's not a sin. Don't you believe that you can be desensitized to it, where eventually you just get used to it, where you will start doing it yourself without thinking?
Everyone can be desensitized with anything the more they do it.
Yeah,
which
is why we have to be very careful on the choices we make.
Exactly. That's why before you make a choice, you always go back to things like, is it going to take me away from God? Is it going to ruin the perception I think about? Is it going to change my perception on religion? Is it going to change the way I always view things? Is it going to make me sin mentally or physically? Like mentally, right? Like,
and even with movies too, let's say it doesn't have any cursing in it or profanity, but let's say the movie is just downright not good morals, right? Somebody comes to you and says like, oh, I watched this movie, it was so good, and you start questioning about it. Oh, but they had, let's say, a scene in it. There's artistically good movies and there's morally good movies. So is the person focusing artistically on the movie, or are they focusing morally on it? I won't even watch the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't know if you know what that is. But because morally, even though I don't remember any profanity in that movie, if I'm not mistaken, but morally, it just was not a good storyline. So I can't get myself to watch it. I when I watch a movie, I also fall off morals of what's the moral of the story.
That's good too. I think every person is different the way they practice the faith and how they view things, and obviously God knows the intent of that person.
But that's another thing though. At what point does it become black and white, and at what point does it become people are picking
Because
and choosing?
everyone practices their faith a little different. You know, the church doesn't always teach, Starbucks, for instance, okay? They support gay marriage, they Planned Parenthood, abortions, like all that. Like they give their money out and give people money for it. But does the church say, stop drinking Starbucks? No. Stop supporting them, stop giving them money to do these things. The church doesn't teach us any of that. Us morally and our choosing and willingly to stop that and choosing, okay, God, I'm going to sacrifice this for you. It's just up to you on how much you want to give God.
Well, that's the question I have though, because I've spoken to somebody where I was like, oh, that movie has bad words, because they were telling me about a movie.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, you pick and choose what you want.
And it's true that God gave everyone free will. But the church says not to watch movies with the Lord's name in it.
But how can you...
But I've never heard anything about don't watch a movie that says the C word.
But how can you ever give advice to anybody if they end it with, well, you pick and choose? Let's say you came to me and you were like, hey, like, it's not right to, I don't know. Let's say somebody was standing for something bad, and you're like, hey, it's not right to do that. I'm like, well, you pick and choose, you go to Starbucks. Like, at what point does it become like everyone just makes their own decision based off what they think, or what
subject are we talking about? Because the whole Starbucks thing is completely your own will on doing that,
That's what I'm saying, even for movies. At what point does it become, well, you pick and choose what kind of movies you want to watch, and at what point does it say, hey, this is morally and ethically wrong, and you are doing your soul harm?
If someone came to me, and this is already what I said, but if someone came to me and said, I want to watch this movie, do you think it's bad though? I would say, first of all, if you have to second think yourself about watching it, you shouldn't be watching it. But how I think of it, and like I said, is the movie going to pull you away from God? Are you having the intent of watching it, committing a sin? If it's, going to make you have lustful thoughts, something like that. Is it going to make you sin watching the movie? Then you shouldn't be watching it. Is it? And those questions are things I would ask myself before watching a movie, and I would tell that person, hey, are any of these coming to mind when you're watching the movie? And then you need to make that decision for yourself.
But that's what I want to know, which we don't have the answer, obviously, is if watching movies with profanity is a venial sin. You said, yeah, if it causes you thoughts, right?
It causes you
so
to sin.
Everyone has a different level, in a sense.
Exactly.
Now, let's say you watched a movie. Let's say we both are watching the same movie. And let's say it has a nudity scene. And let's say it doesn't cause me anything, but it causes you something. Does that mean the movie is now okay to watch by the church, or does that mean it's a venial sin now for me because it didn't cause me anything? But where is that line where the church says now it is a sin, you cannot do that? And where's the line of, well, the severity on it? You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying, but it's weird because I just don't know if it's in my, just how I view things as well.
Which actually, that was a bad example because Father Rippinger spoke on, you cannot pretend to act out a bad scene. You have to do that scene. You know what I'm saying? So you're not, so when it comes to pretending to kill someone on TV, you're not actually killing somebody, it's acting. But when it comes to nudity or bad words, you are actually doing that. So that was actually a bad example. But, okay, so let's say we watch a movie and it has up-the-wall profanity, like left and right.
What kind of profanity are we talking about, and what use of it, though?
Okay, F word, B word, everything, right? Let's say we're watching a movie like that, and you get nothing out of it. You're just like, whatever, and you feel it doesn't take you away from God.
Do you feel like
At
it's
what
going to
point-
make you cuss more? And are you going to get desensitized from it by watching it? You know, am I going to hang around, it's not a sin, but am I going to hang around a friend group that's always cussing? And eventually I'm going to get immune to it and start doing it myself. Is it morally and ethical for me to actually do that? Is this, before you make a decision, you have to think, is this good for me? Is this going to bring me closer to God, or is it going to bring me further away
Exactly,
from God?
but even if you watch a movie with a couple of bad words, can you really say this is not going to bring me away from God? This will still bring me closer? You know what
I
I'm
would
saying?
say it would keep me in the middle.
I don't know. This is what I'm trying to figure
No,
out.
it's just a debate that can go back and forth because everything is depends on the person you are. So we have the 10 commandments that are sinful, you know, and
To go against them is sinful. Yeah.
yeah, to go against them that God gave us, that told us these are a sin, 100%. Like, I'm giving you the 10 commandments. But those little things on the side is just up to you as a Catholic or Christian, even if you have just a relationship with God, to decide, you know, God gave us that free will. Is this going to bring me closer to God? Is it going to pull me away from God? Or is it going to keep you in the middle? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, and let us know your opinions. Do you think it's a venial sin to watch movies with
yeah, because
profanity?
I don't, like, personally, but I know you've always have thought that as well. But I think it just...
I've always thought it. I've always believed it. I stay away from movies that have any type of profanity because I just don't think, you know, God created my God. You know, God gave me the gift of hearing. I'd like to use it for more good, but then I started digging into more research on, you know, if I'm going to debate anybody about it, and that's where I started looking up. Well, is it a venial sin? To what extent? And everything, and I was getting mixed answers. So we obviously didn't want to talk about this to tell you guys whether it is a sin or not. We wanted to just point out our factors that we did our research on, and you know, you guys tell us what you think, if it is or isn't. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, okay. So what do you think about teenagers and such young people cussing now? Oh, using vulgarity. Sorry.
Well, the reason why I don't watch it on movies is because of myself thinking even using it is a venial sin. I just think in general it is. Again, the church stands behind. I've read mixed answers where they say it is a sin. I'm sorry. From my research, I've read that it is a sin to use vulgarity.
Can you go, like, just a question. You can even say no. But what are the things that you kind of read that states that it is a sin? Like, where? Did you just, like, look it up on the internet?
I looked up from Catholic Answers. I've looked up what the saints' opinions were on it, where the church stands on it. So the church seems to stand, from what I'm reading, which you guys can do your own research because don't quote me. I went into page after page and I'm not good at citing stuff. But from what I'm reading, it is a venial sin to use, what do you call, like, a grip of profanity, right? If you're just sitting there yabbing, that is a sin.
Okay, I was gonna say, because so when I watch movies, if it says a billion, like, I'm kind of stuck, because when I watch movies that cuss, if it says maybe 3 F words, you know, compared to excessively cuss, like using vulgarity. I keep saying cussing. Yeah, cussing. And, you know, it's excessive at that point. You know, like, eating's a sin, but doing it excessively...
Eating's not a sin, but excessive eating.
I said it's not a sin.
You know, you said it.
It's okay, eating is not a sin, but, you know, overindulging in it and
Is a
doing
sin.
is a sin. So
Yeah, sitting down isn't, but, you know, excessive laziness is.
that's why, to a certain extent, I think it just depends.
I don't know. My opinion is that it just always was, and
Yeah.
From what I read, the Catholic Church said it was venial, but I'm getting different answers now. So this is where I'm trying to really find my
I never
research
heard
and
the church
citations.
even say it was venial. That's why I'm shocked hearing that.
Can I refill?
I'm gonna show you. Hold up, where I got it from.
Okay, so it says the Catholic Church does not classify the use of secular profanity, foul or vulgar words, as an intrinsically mortal sin in itself. However, the morality of using bad language depends on the intent behind the words and the effect they have on others.
Like saying the F word if you drop something is not, in my opinion, a sin. But if I tell someone to F off, or like I'm using that language to put someone down, like something like that, then I would consider that a sin.
Okay, so obviously the intent, like you said, goes behind it. However, it still says if you are using, a movie with tons and tons of it, I think that is a sin. But I'm not encouraging people to watch movies with bad words.
No.
Father Rippinger says it is.
Again, everyone has their own opinions. You kind of just have to do what's right in your eyes, too. Obviously, God gave you, the 10 Commandments and what it is a sin. But then everything else is kind of up to your conscience to figure it out. But it's just...
Because I just want to be careful where people, when people like pick and choose out of the Bible and they create their own meaning out of it. That's what I want to make sure we don't do.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're not like, well, let's just go with what our conscience tells us, because our conscience can deceive us sometimes. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
So I just want to make sure that we're making,
that's true.
Good choices.
Again, with the movies, am I going to put it on? Am I going to put a movie with bad words on for a little kid? No. But this is the reason I wouldn't do it for my kids. Because their brain is still growing, They don't know exactly right from wrong yet, So you're desensitizing your kids because, the more they grow up and the more they hear it, they are gonna think it's the new normal.
So you think then that it's not a venial sin to watch movies with profanity, but you do think it's wrong, morally wrong? Or no?
To watch movies?
To watch movies with profanity, do you think it's wrong? Or do you think there's no wrong in it?
It depends on the excessive amount. Because this is me. This is how I do my religion. No, okay. But if I look up a movie and it says it has 5 F words, I'm like, okay, kind of thing. But if I look up a movie and it says it has 30 F words, then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to watch this. Because now they're proving a point now. They're using it excessively where they don't have to put that many bad words in it. And that's just something I choose. I choose, okay, if it has a little bit, then okay. But if it uses it so many times in the movie, then I just kind of just back away from it and I don't watch it.
So you don't even see one word wrong. It has to be excessive.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if it has the GD word in a movie, we just do not watch it. That's just mortal sin.
It's hard. It's a hard subject to touch on.
Yeah, we're still figuring it out.
In this episode, we're not trying to
teach really any.
In a way.
One
thing we did do is we did some research, so we're not just talking at the top of our head. But
we were more just in not really a debate, kind of a little debate, but we wanted your guys'
opinions. It is a debate because we have different opinions on things.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the answers.
And there's not always answers to things. Some things God does leave a mystery. It kind of just...
Well, no, I do think you can find answers in all things.
I think you can get opinions on it. I don't think you can 100% find the right answer. Just because one priest says it's right doesn't mean every priest is going to say it's right.
True. But that's with anything then you can say almost.
That's why you can't really find...
Well, no, actually, no.
No, because
if it directly goes against the 10 Commandments, obviously.
That's why God gave us He gave us a list of commandments, and that's up to us to kind of figure out what falls under those categories. And it depends, honestly, on the person you are. I don't really want to keep repeating myself.
Yeah, no, that's the question I have again, because you're saying it depends the person you are. So let's say we both put on the same movie and it has 80
that's what I was thinking.
And you're like, I don't see anything wrong with it, and I'm like, well, my conscience tells me it is. At what point does it become morally and ethically just wrong?
Well, I think morally and ethically, if the movie is pitting God, not saying any bad words or anything, but if the storyline is pitting God down, like
Yeah, then obviously you should be
morally the
watching it.
story in general is just not right. Why are you gonna support a movie like that and give them money for watching it? So,
Either way, these are just things that we were talking about, and we were like, hey, let's bring it up on the podcast and see if you guys have any
yeah, because this
comments
is something
on it.
like we have natural conversations about when I come over.
Yeah.
And we'll go back and forth. And then, like, my Uncle Chase would be like, how about you guys just sit down and discuss it on lemon drops?
And also, we are talking, when it comes to this, we are talking about vulgarity. We were not talking about cursing or blasphemy
Oh, yeah.
in a movie. We were talking strictly on vulgarity.
Yeah.
Blasphemy on a movie, we are against.
Yeah.
But back to it, we were talking strictly on vulgarity in a movie.
Mhm.
And morals. Yeah, and even if you don't think something's a sin, but you're like, well, it's wrong, but it's not a sin, you don't want to get yourself in that habit, because we are human and we're very weak.
You're like testing the waters. You
yeah,
don't
you
want
wanna
to be
test the
lukewarm
waters.
Catholics either.
Exactly.
You know? I heard being lukewarm Catholic is worse than actually being a Catholic.
Don't tell me that.
100%. Yeah.
I'm scared that I'm gonna be lukewarm.
No, I know. That's why my mom's like terrified. I heard it. I looked it up. Well, because I'm learning everything I'm hearing now is not technically true. The concept is rooted in the book of Revelation, where Jesus warns the church, I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were one or the other. So, because you are lukewarm, neither hot or cold,
He says he'll spit you out.
I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. Yeah. So I didn't know that. You knew that too. Why did I look it up?
You just made it sound, I don't know, more terrifying, I guess, but...
It's true. It's worse to be a lukewarm Catholic than to be a full-on Catholic.
So we're gonna get off and pray.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Stay tuned. We're gonna be posting every Saturday now. Good Money Lemon Drops.
Yes, I think we're changing to Good Morning Lemon Drops for Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings, we're gonna wake up.
Yes, we had to shift some stuff around, but
Yeah, we kind of did. But we're still gonna post if we skip a week. Bear with us.
we won't skip a week. I'll make sure.
So yeah, you guys, hope you guys enjoy this topic. Give us other topic ideas if you guys want us to touch base more on this. If you guys have questions, anything like that.
Well, not really. We actually have our topics lined up, so.
Okay, well, we still want to know what you guys want to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go eat some breakfast because I haven't ate yet, and it's like noon.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye. And then you're like,
Good morning, lemon drops. I say that every time. I'm gonna
It's
redo that.
okay.
I'm gonna catch that. I don't think you put it on right. I keep meaning to say good morning America for some reason. Good morning, lemon drops. The D word. We can't be saying the D word. They say. I'm gonna just put that because it's way easier just saying it than editing it. And you didn't choose to
I'm sorry, I'm getting lost in it.
I know. Okay, let me restart that.
Yeah, which is why.
Wait, I'm restarting that.
But you want more of a traditional
Sorry.
face? It's okay.
We both have black socks. I thought it was funny.
But-
well, oh, sorry. Just like,
No,
okay, stop.